Hey there, this is Keerthana from EduUdr. Welcome back to the new tutorial series on data structures and algorithms. Here, we have made these topics more simple so that you can easily understand. One more important thing is your feedback, which is very important to me, so that if there is any issues, I can do it much better. Today, we are going to discuss some important topics like firstly, what is an algorithm and its definition? Secondly, difference between the algorithm and program. Thirdly, characteristics of an algorithm. And then let's see one of the real world example of an algorithm. And finally, one example of the algorithm in programming. So now let's move on to the topics. What is an algorithm? So algorithm has a common definition that it is a step-by-step process or procedure to perform some operations. Now let's go through the textbook definition. That algorithm is defined as a step-by-step procedure or process for solving a problem by a computer in a finite number of steps. Steps of an algorithm may include branching or looping depending upon what problem is being developed for. As I mentioned before, while you're writing an algorithm, it should be written step by step only with the finite number of steps, which is very much important. And sometimes this algorithm may also include the branching or looping depending upon the task given to be completed. So the next topic which we are going to see is the characteristics of an algorithm. So in this topic, let's see what are the features or the qualities that an algorithm should possess. So there are 5 major characteristics. The first one is input and the second one is output, then unambiguity, finiteness, and finally effectiveness. And let's see somehow clearer. The first is input. The algorithm which we have written should have 0 or more defined inputs. Then comes output. An algorithm should have one or more well-defined outputs, and the main thing is it should match the expected output of the user, which we are known. Then unambiguity. Here the algorithm should be clear and each of its step and their input output should be clear and must lead to only one meaning only. Note this point, which is very important. Then comes finiteness. Here the algorithm must terminate after the finite number of steps. So for this termination, we can use any of the branching or looping statements. And then effectiveness. Normally, an algorithm is expected to be effective, right? Which means that all of the operations in an algorithm must be sufficient, that they can complete infinite length of time. These are the major characteristics of an algorithm, right? Apart from these, there are some like feasibility, independent, and so on. So now we are going to see the difference between the algorithm and program. As I said earlier, algorithm is a step-by-step process or procedure, right? Then what is in program? So program is also quite similar to the algorithm. Here the program means it is a step-by-step instruction to perform some computational problems. So in this differentiation, we're going to see some important things like when the algorithm and the programs will be written, who will write the algorithms and program, through which languages it is written. Okay, fine. So first, an algorithm is an step-by-step process, and here the program is a step of or set of instructions that a computer executes. Then let's see when the algorithm is written. So during the design phase, the algorithm is written. On the other side, program is written during the implementation phase. Then who should write an algorithm? The person who is writing an algorithm should be well off in the domain knowledge so that they can easily understand the problem and can solve it within a limited amount of time. Here on the other side, the programmer writes the program. As the programmer will also have a domain knowledge, but here they act as an programmers, but they're as an designer. Then through which language the algorithm is being written? So that the algorithm can be written in any of the nature languages like mathematical notations or any other languages which is easy for the person who is writing an algorithm. And the main thing is it should be understandable for all while verifying that. But in this case, here the programs are written in the programming languages like C, C++, Python, Java, or any other programming languages. Now, let us see one of the real-world example of an algorithm. Here, I have taken the process of preparing a lemon juice. Step 1 is that take the number of lemons required for preparing the lemon juice. Then step 2 is cut each of the lemons in half, then squeeze all the juices of it. Then pour juice into the container with 1/4 cup of sugar. After that, stir the sugar until it dissolves completely with water. So as we have seen earlier, the algorithm is a step-by-step process, right? This preparation also has a step-by-step procedure only. And the important thing we have to note here is before completing the step 1, we cannot able to go to step 2 or step 3 or any other step as it is a step-by-step execution. So then we can see an algorithm in programming. So step 1 is start. Then we have to declare the variables needed for the given task. Here we are going to compute the addition of two numbers. So we are using three variables. One is for storing the result, that is sum, and the another two variables is for holding the values, which has to be summed. Then the next step is to perform add, that is the operation which is add, and store the added value in the sum. Then display sum. So this is an algorithm part. Now we are stepping on to the program part. As we are going to implement this algorithm, I have chosen C language. So here the hash include stdio.h is the preprocessor command that includes the standard input-output header file stdio.h from the C library. As we have known prior, a library which consists of large number of packages from which we can import any one of the packages or in either the packages we require into the program. So it is easy for implement. So then the void main is the main function from where the execution starts from. So here then we have initialized a and b and sum, which is three variables. Then the value of variables has been initialized as a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2. Then the add operation is being made. Then the resultant which is stored in the sum is made to print and then displayed. So the next topic is advantages of an algorithm. As we have known, algorithm is easy to write because it is not dependent on any programming languages, right? So it is easy to write and understand for anyone even without programming languages or programming knowledge. Then makes the logic clear, easy identification of the mistakes. Each step has its own logical sequence, so it is easy to debug. So finally, disadvantages of an algorithm. First is time consuming and then difficult to show branching and looping. Then big tasks are difficult to put in algorithm. That's the end of the this series. So please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.